Welcome to the channel, Scott's Garage HTX. Do not forget the HTX. I'm either going to succeed wildly today or fail miserably. I want to add some auxiliary fans, or fan, depending on fitment, to the intercooler of the FD. I'm going to have to fabricate a bracket out of this sheet of aluminum with the limited fabrication tools that I have. I want to make this look pretty cool too, so I'm going to try to engine turn the bracket that I create, and I want to polish the upper half of this intercooler. Now, I'm not going to show you this polishing in this episode. If you want to learn how to do that polishing, go back to one of my previous episodes where I polished the inside of my spare wheel to the F250. Looks pretty cool, actually. We're going to jump right into the fabrication of the bracket and the fans, but right now I got to start polishing. Let's get started. Well, the polishing's done. Now I want to make the bracket for the fan, and it's going to be a fan because I don't think the dimensions are going to allow for 2 fans. To go forward, I've cut a 14 gauge piece of aluminum down to a rough size. I want to make this bracket look pretty, so I'm going to engine turn this entire piece. Then I'm going to cut the hole and all the bolt holes necessary. Then I'm going to mold it to the shape I want and trim it, maybe trim and mold. We'll see how that goes. Then attach it to the intercooler, put it in the car, and wire it. To do this engine turning, I've never done anything like this before. A lot of the things that I do on this channel, I've never done before. So it's always my first time. I'm just trying to show you that you can do this. If it's my first time, it can be your first time too. From what I understand, you get these little abrasive sticks. I got this from Kratex, and I put this in my chuck. Now this is 5/8 because that's as big as my chuck will go on this drill press. And you basically, I think you put a light coat of oil on this. 3-in-1 works really well. I don't have 3-in-1 oil, so today it's going to be garage door grease. I've done a test run on this already, and it looks pretty good. What I found is don't use too much oil. Light coat of oil, because if you use too much oil, it blacks up and you can't really see where you're putting your marks. I've already done a test row on this. I'm going to do the second test row. You put a row in, matching the circles up to each other, and then you come back and put circles a half away from here in the middle. So 1/2 over to the left or right in the center, and down 1/2 of a circle. We'll get started. I've also created a guide to help me guide this piece of sheet metal or aluminum through the process. And all it is a flat piece of steel with some holes drilled in it and secured to the base of the drill press so I can slide this back and forth. Now all I need to do to make my circles is slide this down each circle like so, and then I can maneuver my drill press back and forth to move down each row. My drill press is running at about 600 RPM. I think it's 550 given the belts that I have in here. This is a fixed speed drill bit or drill. It doesn't have a variable drill selector switch. You just have to change the pulleys. This actually has some kind of a sound to it that you know you're doing it right, you're not pressing too hard, and you're letting the tool do the work. Here it is with the engine turning. We're ready for the next part of the process. Now I'm going to drill the holes for the fan itself, the big hole and the bolt holes. I'm going to leave this bracket on here because it's pretty convenient holding the GoPro. That wasn't pretty. It's getting there. Oops. It's getting there, slowly and surely. This is where I need to be very precise. I need to make sure that the bolt holes that I drill into the bracket match the bolt holes on the intercooler. This is where you measure 20 times, drill once. Hey, it's starting to come together. Now I need to trim it and shape it to the form I want. Watch how I do that. Ta-da! A shear. I don't use this much, so do the best I can. I don't like that. Not too bad. I like this cut right here. That looks pretty sharp, but this one kind of bent. I think I'm going to take a hammer and pound on this side on the wood and try to flatten that out. That's better. But Scott, how are you going to form it, you ask? Well, I've created a form, or a buck, if you may, and I'm going to take the bracket itself and I'm going to screw it onto the buck that I made that has the correct dimensions of the intercooler that I want to form. See, I want to seal this just like they do on those radiator kits when it comes to the radiator and the fan. I'm just going to mold it around the intercooler and seal it the same way they do with their sealant that they use. I think it's like almost like weather stripping, and I have some of that. So that's what I'm going to do. Wish me luck. Now this has all worked brilliantly in my head. Let's see how it works in reality. I think I need to put screws here. Yes, more screws, hold on. All right, more screws. This is the hard one right here. I don't think this is going to work. I might have to just shear that off. I want to make it nice and pretty up against the intercooler at the top. So you don't see the stripping, the weather stripping, you just see this thing folded over. The way that bent right here, I'm really not sure that's going to bend without tearing. We'll try. Ooh, let's see how this fits. Come on, what do you think? Kind of give it up for halfway without any experience. Pretty nice. I even like the little edge I put on top of it. This is all polished. This is sealed. I haven't put the stripping on it, as you just saw, but I just wanted to see what it looked like. I really think it's going to be good, and I hope it's functional for sure. Now, I just need to put it into the car and wire it. Wiring is going to be simple. It's supposed to be red wired through a switch, basically a 12-volt switch that's not constantly on. It's only on when the key is on, and then the black to a ground. Looks like they're run out of red wire at the fan factory, and they're using blue. Whatever. Well, it's done, and I'm quite proud of it. I'm glad I took the time to do the engine turning on the bracket itself. It looks pretty smart. Polished the upper end of the intercooler. I think it looks really good in contrast to the rest of the rough finish on the intercooler. Now this is a tight fit, but it's in there. I don't think it's rubbing on anything. Another thing I took some time to do was replace those worm clamps with some T-bar clamps. They look better and they seal better. This took some time to find an electrical connection that was hot with the key on, but not hot all the time. I put in this little relay right there, and that solved the problem. So now it's when keys on only, the fan comes on. I don't really notice any temperature difference at the moment. I do notice some more pep, and then it's got a little bit more pep to the engine, especially in the lower end. So that's a positive, but the temperatures, I'm not sure I solved anything there. Next project is on the back end, and that's right here. I'm going to replace this beat up old carpet that had the battery in the middle of it with a Alcantara pad, diamond stitched. I need to get that stitched, cut, sewn, and placed into the back. Don't know how I'm going to do that yet, but we'll figure it out. You guys keep on keeping on to the next project, which is going to be that. We'll catch you next time. I'm not really sure when that's going to be because I'm going on vacation next week, so it might be 2 weeks for my next episode. Catch you later.